All right, my beautiful friends, it is still Wednesday, May 8th, 2019. I am going to cover some things with you today which are literally going to blow your mind. Please share this video, get it out here, because people need to know what I am going to tell you here. And don't take my word for it. As a matter of fact, don't believe anything I say until you research it for yourself. Let's start off with the stock market, my usual wrap-up. An unbelievably volatile day in this stock market. A 200-point swing in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. We finished at the flat line. There was some very disturbing action today in the bond market. I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but the worst auction for debt in nearly a decade. China has boycotted buying U.S. debt here. This is an attempt to rattle the markets. Understand, there are a lot of people that want you to believe that the U.S. debt does not matter. We can inflate it until wherever we want to inflate it. That's actually not true. A country like China, which owns epic sums of our debt, all they need to do is refuse to buy it, dump it, do whatever they want, and they pull the strings of the entire market and the economy. Our debt is a monster. It's a terrible liability. So when you hear someone say that, understand that you're looking into the face of an imbecile who has no idea of what they're talking about or how this works. Whoever owns the United States by holding our debt, they're the ones that are pulling the strings, and that's China here. So understand, that was a message today to President Trump that he better start falling in line. Understand, again, our economy here in the United States, it's not even on a knife's edge. We are teetering on the brink. And that brings me to what I want to talk about here. How many of you know? I'm sure most of you do, but let's get a show of hands here. How many of you know? It's crazy. March 2nd of this year, just a few months ago, we breached our debt ceiling, and our government right now is resorting to emergency measures just to pay our bills. How many of you know that? Probably half, I would guess, know that. The other half have no idea. Now, I've been pondering for quite a while why our president has made his third call for quantitative easing. And a lot of people, including myself, were unaware of what I'm about to tell you. But this is the reason why our president wants more quantitative easing. Forget about the rate cut. We're talking about why the president wants more quantitative easing. Let's talk about that real quick. In 2008, when the market melted down, you and I, the public, had to backstop it all. We were forced to conjure up $750 billion for the TARP bailout, Troubled Asset Relief Program. You know how they structure that? Well, we did that. You and me, we paid for it all. We're still paying for it. Hence, we understand how that all played out. Now that we understand that since we breached the debt ceiling a couple of months ago, well, what does it mean? It means the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. So what do I mean by that? Where's the cash coming from right now to support the emergency measures being instituted by our government? Well, again, do not take my word for what I'm about to tell you. I want you to look it up for yourself. The government, right now, your government, my government, the United States government is raiding pension funds to the tune of $800 billion. You heard right. They're raiding pension funds. Now, what is it called? For those of you that maybe understand a little bit, when an investment fund is used as a piggy bank to pay off debts and loans by another individual that is holding those funds like a pension fund. What is that called? It's called a Ponzi scheme. You understand? It's called a Ponzi scheme, and that's exactly what's going on. Our government, right now, the United States government, is raiding pension funds to fund itself, to pay bills, to pay off the interest on the debt, to keep everything going. But meanwhile, we are being fist-fed how strong our economy is. I don't know how many of you follow me on Twitter or Facebook. I posted a chart of credit card default since second quarter 2018. It has gone parabolic. Understand, we have no middle class anymore. The middle class is surviving right now on debt and on credit. And a large part of those people, their pension funds are being raided right now. So they're getting hit from both ends, and they probably don't even know it. They probably don't know it. Now, again, what would happen to these people that are middle class if they couldn't borrow anymore, if they continue to default on their debts like we're hearing about? It's not just auto loan defaults. It's credit card defaults as well. Mortgage defaults, believe it or not, are picking up. Does that sound familiar to you? So again, what would happen to the middle class, or those that believe they're in the middle class? They would immediately fall to the lower rung of society. Again, I find this very disturbing, and I think you should too. But again, I would be willing to bet that less than half of you know that our government right now is resorting to emergency measures just to pay the bills. And I would believe even a fraction of those who know that realize where the cash is coming from. Your pension fund might be getting raided right now. And how do you feel about that? Do you think that if your pension fund right now is being used to fund the government, that you should be compensated for that? Well, if they pay the cash back, yeah, you really should be compensated for it. But this is a Ponzi. It's the definition of a Ponzi scheme. Now, why have you not heard about this, or me, from any of the mainstream channels, the news outlets, the financial channels, the president? Haven't heard it from him. Vice President Pence? Haven't heard it from him. Haven't heard it from anybody. But this is what's going on. And again, don't believe me. Just let your fingers do the walking. And just Google it, okay? And once you convince yourself that what I am saying is true, I sincerely hope you share this far and wide. Share this video as far and wide as you possibly can. Again, what do you think about all this? Sounds good to you? Let me know what you think. This guy loves you, and I'll see you in the morning.